So figure 8, this picture here shows 3 stone tools found in different layers of rock. We've got tool A at the top, tool B and tool C. Explain how information from figure 8 provides evidence for human evolution. So I'm going to have a look at the question first, see what information I can get from it. So we've got 3 very different looking tools. They look different to each other, they're found in different layers. So tool A is in one of the upper layers, therefore it will have been buried more recently. So that is a more recent tool. Whereas tool C, it's in one of the lower layers, which means it is much older, and B is somewhere in between. So there's a few things that we'll need to cover in the answer. So first of all, just describing things to do about the location of each tool and how that links to the age. So pretty much what we've just sort of annotated there. We'll have to talk about the quality of each tool. Okay, and the question is asking how these tools and where they're buried and what they look like, how it's evidence for human evolution. So the bit of human evolution, it doesn't tell us if people were shorter or taller or walked more upright. It's all to do with intelligence. Okay, so that's kind of what we need to link it back to. So link to intelligence. And what would be a good idea, because we've got 3 different tools, do a bit of comparing as we go along. So compare the tools to one another. Okay. So I'm going to use this as like a little checklist of the sorts of things I'm going to talk through with my answer. So it doesn't really matter which tool you start off with. I'm just going to start at the bottom and work my way up. So tool C is found deeper down, so is therefore the oldest. Okay. Tool A is found in the top layers, so will be the one made most recently. Okay, and then tool B, I'm just going to reference where it age-wise, how it fits in with tool A and tool C. So tool B is older than tool A because it's lower down, but we could say younger than tool C. Okay, so I've mentioned about location versus age. Age-wise, just saying which ones are older and which ones are more recent is fine. We don't need to give specifics. So now we're going to move on to the quality of each tool. So you can see tool C, very basic, is very basic, simple, doesn't look like it's actually had much done to it. So I can actually link that straight away to intelligence. So must have been made by a less intelligent, and we can use the word ancestor here, so just the other species that we've evolved from, and then we can say tool A is very complex, it's nice and refined, it's nice and sharp. So for someone, a species to think to do that, obviously must have been more intelligent. So it's very complex and refined, so must have been made by a more intelligent ancestor than who made tools B and C. Okay, so I've mentioned about the quality of the tools, well, most of them anyway, the most basic and the most complex. I've linked it to intelligence by saying the basic one must have been made by a less intelligent ancestor, and the more complex one a more intelligent ancestor, and I've done a bit of a comparison as I've gone along. Okay.